1-877-669-1292.
And good afternoon and evening, and welcome to the Howie Silbiger Show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Howie Silbiger. I shall be your host, as I am every Sunday night from 8 to 9 p.m. right here on the True Talk Radio Network. I thank you so much for joining me, and I do hope that you enjoy the show as much as I enjoyed doing it for you. What a week. What a week it's been. And the week's only starting, and it's already been quite a week. Well, right at the end of last week, President Donald Trump sent a missile into the face of a terrorist. A horrible terrorist, a horrific terrorist, a terrorist that is responsible for many, many, many American, Jewish, world deaths. Not only Jews, Americans, Christians. This man was evil. Evil personified. And Donald Trump, the President of the United States, put an end to this evilness. Now he didn't randomly just choose a terrorist to go and kill. This terrorist was killed after the American embassy in Iraq was attacked. And they found that this terrorist, was there. Coordinating the whole thing. He was there to organize the whole thing. So here we are in a situation where a man organizes an attack on the embassy of the United States of America. The attack kills a contractor, injures many military people, and the coordinator of the attack, the general, the man in charge of the attack, Qasem Soleimani, takes off. He goes to the airport and he takes off, and America blows him up at the airport. He lands the plane, he gets out of the plane, and gets a missile into his face. Now, normally I'm not a big fan of targeted assassinations. Normally I'm the kind of guy who would say, arrest a guy, try him for war crimes, do something like that, put him up on a show trial at least. Send a message to other terrorists that this is not acceptable behavior. But in this case here, as evil as this man was, I'm in full support of the United States and the President of the United States, and I wish him a congratulations on taking out a terrorist. Now, Jewish law dictates that we don't celebrate when our enemies die. Because, after all, you, me, and our enemies are all made in God's image. So we don't celebrate upon the death of our enemies. But much like when Yasser Arafat died, much like when Osama bin Laden was shot, you can't help but smile just a little bit, knowing that the world is now a safer place, that we are living in a world with one less evil person in it. I could smile with that knowledge. I could be happy with that knowledge, knowing that eradicating evil in the world has just gotten a little bit easier with the destruction and the death of this soldier. Now in Lefty Land, of course in Lefty Land, things aren't that cut and dry. No matter what Donald Trump does, no matter what the president does, the lefties have to find fault in it. And even if that means standing behind murderers of Americas, even if of Americans, even if that means standing behind people who want to destroy the American culture, the American way of life, the Western way of life. For lefties, no matter what Donald Trump does, it's no good. So, lefties have come out in support of a mass murdering terrorist. Lefties have come out and said, Donald Trump, you should not have killed the terrorist. You shouldn't have killed him. Lefties have come out and condemned the President of the United States for authorizing this attack, which took out one of the bloodiest terrorists in the world. Lefties have gone nuts. Completely and utterly insane. Now, Sean Hannity on Fox News always says, and I tend to agree with him now, after seeing this lefty freakout over the murder of a terrorist, I tend to agree with Sean Hannity when he says that Donald Trump could cure cancer and it wouldn't matter. The lefties would protest. It's true. No matter what he does, no matter what happens, it's no good. But for me, I'm not a lefty. I'm not even, I don't even lean at all to the left. To me, the destruction of a murderer, the destruction of a killer, the destruction of a man who orchestrated terror attacks against Americans, against Israelis, a man who coordinated Hamas, a man who was responsible for 2 decades, maybe even more, probably even 3 and 4 decades, for the mass murder of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. I'll say good night and goodbye. It wasn't nice having you on Earth, but it'd be so much nicer having an Earth without you. Now, you may disagree with me, and a lot of people do. Number to call, 1-877-669-1292. That's 1-877-669-1292. You could disagree with me if you want. But murdering crazy radical terrorists, it's something I support 100%. All right, we'll take a little break. When we come back, Howie Silbiger Show continues. Right here on the True Talk Radio Network. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Howie Silbiger Show on the True Talk Radio Network. Talk to Howie. Call 1-877-669-1292.
And leave it to the Jewish community, the organized Jewish community, to mess things up royally. I find it really amazing how they manage to do this each and every time they do anything. Organized religion sucks. Let's put it that way. The organized community sucks. So today, the Jewish community, along with a lot of other people, held a huge rally in New York City to condemn anti-Semitism. That's the word they use. Not the word I necessarily use. I like to use the word anti-Jewism. I think we should be clear about what we talk about. We should not be wishy-washy using these terms that hide what we're really trying to say. So when people tell me, that guy was a pedophile, no, he wasn't a pedophile. He was a child rapist. Let's just be honest. Let's just be clear about what we're talking about. Why do we have to hide behind these Latin words? Let's just be clear and straightforward. So, a rally against Jew hatred was held in New York City today. And I saw a lot of chest thumping online. Oh, the federations, the Jewish federations, were banging their chests. Look at what we're doing. We're standing in the middle of the Viper's Den, in the middle of New York City, where Jews have been attacked for months and months and months, and we've said nothing, we've done nothing. And we're standing there today on a Sunday afternoon, and we're protesting. Look at us, look at us. And these were the posts I saw on Facebook, these were the posts I saw on Instagram, these were the posts I saw everywhere today. Look at us, we are protesting. And who did they invite as their keynote speaker? Was it some great rabbinic authority? Was it a victim of one of the crimes? Was it somebody with any relevance to what was going on? Well, the keynote speaker had relevance to what was going on. She was a Jew hater herself. They invited Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a supporter of the Destroy Israel Boycott, Divestment, Sanction movement, to be the keynote speaker at the big anti-Jewish rally in middle of New York City. Let me understand something. I'm completely confused. The Boycott, Divestment, Sanction movement, the BDS movement, is a movement that supports the destruction of the state of Israel. The founder of the BDS movement, Omar Barghouti, made it very clear, and he was crystal clear. You can look it up on YouTube. There's a video there. He's crystal clear when he says that no Palestinian, no non-sellout Palestinian, will ever accept a Jewish state in any part of what he considers historical Palestine. He made it extremely clear that this is how he feels, and this is the raison d'etre. This is the reason for the existence of the BDS movement, the Boycott, Divestment, Sanction movement against Israel. That they couldn't defeat Israel militarily. Israel's too strong militarily to defeat. So they could defeat Israel through sanctions, essentially, through boycott. They could destroy Israel's economy and have the country implode economically and destroy it that way, rather than coming after it militarily and destroying it militarily. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the congresswoman from New York, has been very supportive and very openly vocal about her support for the BDS movement. And this, the Jewish federations felt was the appropriate person to invite to come speak at a rally condemning anti-Jewish attacks. A woman who supports attacking the Jewish state. It's mind-boggling. Yes, completely mind-boggling that people with some semblance of a brain in their heads would think this was somewhat appropriate. Now, we've had this conversation on the show before. We've talked about Jewish organizations and how appropriateness doesn't really work into their thought process. We had this conversation when a synagogue was celebrating its 70th birthday by hiring a gospel choir to come and sing. We had this conversation when the Jewish gym, which was the last of the traditional Jewish gyms, which respected Jewish tradition, decided to shirk Jewish tradition and open on Sabbath. We had this conversation when Jewish organizations in Montreal decided that following traditional Judaism, at least having their events kosher, was no longer what they wanted to be doing, and have completely abandoned the Jewish tradition. Now, this is nothing new. This has happened across North America, as Jews don't care about Judaism anymore, as the assimilation factor really took grasp of the Jewish community, with over 60% assimilation rate and over 70% of intermarriage rate amongst Jews in North America. It's no great surprise that the Jewish organizations have shied away and have run away, literally turned and ran away from Judaism. No great surprise. It's no great surprise that the leaders of the BDS movement, the leaders of the anti-Jewish movements, the people who get up and vocally support terrorism against the Jewish people, people who vocally come out and condemn the United States for killing a terrorist, these people, it's no great surprise, no huge surprise that these people are Jews. Not a shock. I'm not shocked. Are you? Would you be shocked? Why would you be shocked? This is not a shocking revelation. And so here we are. Here we are. a huge rally. Lots of people turned up to the rally. Jews have been attacked in New York City for months and months and months and months. The Jewish community has done nothing. The legal community has done nothing. The police have done nothing to stop or curb the attacks, to investigate the attacks. People have died. And the police, the FBI, they've been pretty much impotent in stopping or doing anything to curb these attacks. And the Jewish community finally, I mean, it takes a long time to get the Jewish community to do anything. But the community finally, instead of having a rally in a protected synagogue, instead of having a rally in one of their buildings, finally decided to do what they should have been doing all along. They decided to go into the street and rally in the street and take back the streets. And they invited Jew Hater to be their keynote speaker. It's so wrong and so sad and so unbelievably misguided. And that's where we are. That's where we are right now. We are in a point in history where life for the Jew in the diaspora has pretty much come to an end. Now, I know I've said this before, and I continue to say this, that we are seeing the end of life for Jews in the diaspora. We are seeing God slowly sending a message, well, like very quickly sending a message, if you actually want to look at it, that perhaps we've missed the boat, perhaps we haven't realized that he has sent Messiah, that Messiah is here, that Jews can now move to Israel. More than half of the Jewish population of the world has moved to Israel. That Jews don't have to stay sitting in the diaspora getting killed by their neighbors. That there is a safe place for them to go. And he's sending that message very clearly. It's Jews that don't want to listen. And why don't they want to listen? Too busy assimilating. Too busy worrying about assimilation. Too busy worrying about being part of assimilation, being an active participant in assimilation. So that's why they don't want to listen. You can't have an anti-hate party when the keynote speaker's a hater. That's exactly what they did today. And it is shameful. It is shameful. Sometimes when these things happen, you have to say, I am ashamed to be part of the Jewish community. And today, that's what happened. I'm Howie Silbiger. It's the Howie Silbiger Show right here on the True Talk Radio Network. We'll take a little break. When we come back, we'll continue the show. You can call in. Number to call, 1-877-669-1292. 1-877-669-1292.
here for the duration. Got to work on the human relations, not a turf war. That's not why we're here. This is our home for 2,000 years, and it ain't where hate lives, but where your place and fate is. What God says you're from and through his graces, this is where we'll stay. I'm not gonna spend my life running away. I want some solidarity. This nation's meant to be yours and mine. So when we're walking up Fifth Avenue, I'm holding up the blue and white. And I remember those who sacrificed to raise the flag of blue and white. Woo! Me and my sisters and my brothers sing Hatifa to the blue and white. Oh yeah! Woo! I'll call it, all right. Ooh, yeah. Come on! Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh, all right. Come on! I'm Yisrael High. It's white. It's up to you and me. Ooh, and white. Hold it up. Hold up, High. It's white. It's up to you and me to keep the blue and white. Woo! I'm Yisrael High and white. Go! We got a problem, can't we see the light? We haven't learned a thing, don't treat each other right. Even the strangers see we've drifted so far from our beliefs, and now we don't deserve who we are. Peace is the word. They kill our friends and leave us all in pain, but we don't take a stand. It's just a cry and shame. So many lying now to you and me. We hope they'll stop it now because we think they agree. Peace is the word. It's the word, but we heard it could lose all its meaning. Peace in our time, in our place, in our nation can help bring the day of redeeming. Take all the hatred, throw it all away, 'cause it's the reason why we have no temple today. The lesson we have yet to learn so far, just start believing now. We still can be who we are. Peace is the word. It's the word, but we heard it's absurd. It can lose all the meaning. Peace in our time, in this place, in our nation can help bring the day of redeeming. No, peace is not an illusion. We're just in trouble. Full of delusion from what we're doing here. Take all the hatred, throw it all away. Our nationality depends on yesterday. 2,000 years and yet we've made it so far. Why stop believing now, since we can prove who we are? Peace is the word. It's the word. It's the word, and you heard that shalom is the meaning. Peace in our time, in this place, in our nation. Peace is the way to our healing. Peace is the word, it's the word, but we heard it needs you to give meaning. In our time, in this place, in our nation, peace is the way we are feeling. Peace is the word, is the word, is the word, is the word.
This is the Howie Silbiger Show on the True Talk Radio Network. Call 1-877-669-1292.
Howie Silbiger, the host of the Howie Silbiger Show, right here on the True Talk Radio Network. Feel free to call in. Number to call, 1-877-669-1292. We are streaming live on the True Talk Radio Network. We are streaming on Facebook. We are streaming on YouTube. We are streaming on Periscope. So we're streaming on a whole bunch of places. Feel free to call in, 1-877-669-1292. I want to remind you that we're now on Patreon, and we could use your support. So if you would like the show and you want to support the show, support us on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Howies, Howies, and show your support for the show. Every little penny counts. So anything you could afford to donate, a one-time donation, a monthly donation, would be very much appreciated. Go to patreon.com/Howies and support the Howie Silbiger Show on Patreon. So here we are. We're at a point in our history where Jew hatred has spewed up again, and now Jews are in danger in North America. Where we saw it happen in Europe, and we did very little to stop it in Europe. And now in North America, Jew hatred is starting to crop up, and very little is being done in North America to stop this Jew hatred. We have a huge rally in New York held today to complain about Jew hatred, to say, we don't support Jew hatred. And they invited a Jew hater to be the keynote speaker. So that was kind of counterproductive. So how do we solve this issue? What do we do? How do we solve this problem? So we have a couple of options. There are a few options that we have, and those couple of options are quite simple. We could all get up and move en masse to Israel, where we'll be protected by the Israeli Defense Force. That's option number one. And that's pretty easy to do. The Israelis will accept any Jew who wants to go there. And we should get up and go and be part of the Zionist experience. I can't say I'm a Zionist, but sometimes I think that Israel might be the best place to go to, at least to get away from Jew hatred in North America. Secondly, what we could do is we could simply learn self-defense and learn how to defend ourselves. And in places that we could arm ourselves to get guns and get arms and arm ourselves. And in places where we can arm ourselves to learn how to defend ourselves, how to protect ourselves, and how to protect our families and our friends and our institutions. And this is something I think should have been done 30 years ago, something I think I've been screaming at for at least 25 years. That every Jewish day school, every Jewish institution, every Jewish organization should be offering self-defense courses to the community. They should be subsidized, they should be free, and they should be offered to the community, and the community should be encouraged. Kids should be, it should be part of their gym class, should be part of their curriculum. And those who don't go to Jewish schools should be encouraged to join one of the groups that are offering self-defense. The more we learn to defend ourselves, the more we learn to stand up to the haters, and not to bow and invite a hater to come and speak at one of our rallies, but to stand up and to be strong, to grow a backbone and be strong. The second we learn how to do that, as a community, we've already beaten the haters. But we choose not to do that. And this is really where the problem is. We choose not to do that. And that's where I have the problems. Let's go to the phones. Hi, who's this? Excellent, thank God. How are you? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay. He wanted to give his thoughts on the Iran situation, and that was his thoughts. All right, I'm glad that somebody called in with their thoughts on the Iran situation. Thank you so much. I'm not sure who he was referring that to. I'm not sure who he's directing that to. If he was directing it to me for supporting the killing of this terrorist in Iran, I'm not sure if he's talking to me. I'm not sure if he was talking to the terrorists or to the Iranians and saying that to the Iranians. He didn't stay on the line long enough for me to be able to question him, to find out who he was referring to. If he was talking to the Iranians, I agree with you. If he was talking directly to me, well, okay, whatever. 1-877-669-1292 is the number to call. 1-877-669-1292. This is the part of having an open line. You're entitled to your opinion, and I appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much for calling in, Arnold. I appreciate the call. 1-877-669-1292. Get in on the conversation. Tell me what you think about the Iran situation. You think President Trump was right in killing this terrorist? The lefties are complaining that President Trump was wrong and that hey, he's starting a war. Really? He's starting the war? President Trump is starting the war? This terrorist was in Iraq trying to coordinate, well, he did coordinate an attack on the American embassy in Iraq. This terrorist, and notice I'm not naming him. A lot of the other media have named him. I refuse to name him because his name's not that important. His name is not important at all. His name should be stricken from the memories of everybody in the world. Much like we clap and we scream and we make noise when we say Haman on Purim. This guy's name should be blotted out. So I'm not going to say his name. I know his name. He's a well-known terrorist. I know his name. But in my opinion, his name should be blotted out and blotted out forever. Like Haman's name is blotted out forever on Purim. So I refuse to say his name. But this terrorist was responsible for the deaths of many, many people. And the situation in Iran, is this going to lead to World War III? Well, I think the Iranian situation was leading to World War III before they killed this terrorist. I think Obama sending $1 billion in cash to Iran didn't really help the cause. I think the idea that there is some kind of connection between Iranian hostility towards the United States and the situation in Iran about killing the terrorist. I think these two things, they're not interrelated. And I don't think the president increased the chance of war with Iran. Israel's been beating the war drum with Iran for years already. Iran has threatened to wipe Israel off the map. They've now threatened to wipe America off the map. I think the Iranian government is fostering this war, not the Israelis. And not the Americans. So those lefties who are out there complaining that this kind of action that the United States president took towards this Iranian terrorist somehow increases the chances of Iran going to war and increases the chances of World War III is ludicrous. It's a lefty talking point, and it's a ludicrous lefty talking point, which should be disregarded. But of course, the lefty media is going to pick it up, and this is where we're at. The lefty media is going to pick it up and make a big deal out of it, scare the population, and the population is going to say, "Hey, wait a second, they might be right. Shame on the president," and they'll say, like Arnold just said, "That's what he should do. That's what the president should do." Give me a break. 1-877-669-1292 is the number to call. 1-877-669-1292. It is a great day. We don't celebrate the death of our enemies. We never celebrate the death of our enemies. The Torah teaches us that we don't celebrate when our enemies get killed. But it doesn't mean we have to be sad about it either. And I am not sad about it, and I wish that all terrorists should meet the same end as the terrorists that we saw die this week. 1-877-669-1292 is the number to call. I'm Howie Silbiger. This is the Howie Silbiger Show, right here on the True Talk Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Silbiger Show on the True Talk Radio Network. Call 1-877-669-1292.
And the number to call again, 1-877-669-1292. That's 1-877-669-1292. I'm Howie Silbiger, your host, here on the Howie Silbiger Show. We're heard live every Sunday night from 8 to 9 p.m. Then we are heard again on Tuesday nights from 10 to 11 p.m. And then at midnight for Political Hitman from midnight to 1 a.m. on Wednesday morning. So this is when you could catch the Howie Silbiger Show, Political Hitman. You catch me on the air at those times. We have a Patreon page. We appreciate the support that you give us on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Howies, Howies, and support the show. If you enjoy what you're seeing, you enjoy what you're hearing, please go and support the show. Every little penny counts. It's not cheap to run this, so every little penny counts, and we appreciate your support. So please go to patreon.com/Howies. And support the show. You can like us on Facebook too. Go to facebook.com, search for the Howie Silbiger Show, and click that like button. And when you click that like button, 9 out of 10 times, you will find out when this show is on the air. I know today we didn't really advertise the show, but normally when we're on the air, we will advertise the show. Most of the time, 99.9% of the time, on the Howie Silbiger Show page on True Talk on Facebook. That's right. You can also watch the show. It's live streamed on Facebook. It's live streamed on YouTube. It is live streamed on Twitter. It's also live streamed on the True Talk Radio page, truetalkradio.com. Plenty of places you can watch the show. You can listen to the show on the True Talk Radio Network app, which is downloadable on any of your app stores. So the iPhone App Store, the Android App Store, it's available everywhere. And of course, you could podcast the show. So if you can't catch it every week live, you could podcast the show at your favorite podcasting service. Just search for the Howie Silbiger Show, and the show is podcasted every week. So if you can't catch it live, podcast it. If you can't podcast it, watch it live. If not, it's archived on the Howie Silbiger Show page, and it's archived on the True Talk Radio page. You can watch the video version. You can listen to it. There's so many different ways to be part of the Howie Silbiger Show experience. Another way you can be part of the experience is you could call in. Numbers to call, 1-877-669-1292. That's 1-877-669-1292. And you can take part in the show as the show is happening. Now, how exciting is that? I find that exciting. I think it's exciting that you could call in and we could talk. I take all opinions. I don't care what you have to say. If you agree with me, you disagree with me, it's great. Let's have a conversation. Because we can't solve any of these problems without having a conversation. And the conversation can't be one side saying, I'm right, and the other side saying, you're wrong. The conversation has to be with an open mind, and we have to be able to talk to each other. We have to be able to discuss the issues and come to some kind of consensus. Because without a consensus, we are always going to be the victims. And being the victim is not fun. It's never fun being the victim. So, in order to avoid being the victim all the time, you have to come up with some kind of agreement. And the agreement is you have to sit down, you have to discuss and come up with terms for an agreement. Now, this is done by countries all the time. This is done by warring parties all the time. But when you have an internal war, and the Jewish community has an internal war, this is what's going on in the Jewish community. It is an internal war. When you have an internal war, then you gotta sit down and you gotta figure it out. You can't have Jews supporting BDS. You can't have Jews running to Iran to attend Holocaust denial conferences. And you can't have Jews standing and supporting Israel, and you can't have Jews standing and supporting Judaism, and all of them never mesh. At one point or another, we have to realize that we have a common enemy. And a common enemy is the Jew hater. And the Jew hater doesn't care if you support Israel, if you support the Lubavitcher Rebbe, if you support the Satmar Rebbe, if you support the Belzer Rebbe. They don't care what the internal divisions are. The Jew hater cares about one thing. Jew hater cares that you are a Jew, That's what the Jew hater cares about. So you could be the most vocal advocate of the destruction of the state of Israel. You could be the most vocal advocate of the support for the state of Israel. You could be on the front lines holding the Israeli flag. Or you could be on the front lines holding a Palestinian flag. And the Jew hater doesn't give a damn. All they care about is that you're a Jew and that they want to kill you because you're a Jew. And the second the Jewish communities realize this, the sooner the Jewish communities realize this, the safer we will all be. The sooner the Jewish community realize that no matter how assimilated you are, no matter how much you want to marry a non-Jewish girl, you want to be just like the goyim. You want to vape, you want to go and you want to do drugs, and you want to drink, and you want to eat pork. And no matter how much pork you eat, no matter how many drags you take from that vape, and how many bottles of vodka you empty into your belly, you're still a damn Jew to the Jew hater. No matter how you rip your yarmulke off your head, or don't wear any religious symbols, no matter how much you go to church, you're still a Jew to the Jew hater. And the Jew hater is not going to back off attacking you because you're trying to emulate them. The Jew hater is not going to back off in hating you because you're trying to clone them, because you are trying to disguise yourself as them. It doesn't work. It didn't work in Germany in the 1930s. It didn't work during the Roman Empire. It didn't work during the ancient Greek Empire. And it doesn't work today. We have to learn from history. We have to go back and we have to look at history. We have to learn from history. History is so important. People always say, history's boring. What do we need history for? Who cares what happened in the past? But if you don't understand what happened in the past, you'll never understand what's happening now. If you don't have context, and you don't look back and see that context, you will never understand how much danger you're in at any given time. And that's the honest truth. So, why do we learn history? Why do we look back at history? Quite simply because understanding history means understanding current events, understanding what's happening today. When you negate history, when you forget history, you're bound to repeat it. I'm Howie Silbiger. It's the Howie Silbiger Show right here on the True Talk Radio Network. I want to thank you for listening. I will see you again on Tuesday night, 10 p.m., right here on TrueTalkRadio.com. I'll see you then.
Of their Jewish community, and what they are all saying is very plain to see. They're sending a message to you and me. We'd like to learn all there is to learn. We'd like to know all there is to know. We've got this feeling that is coming through real strong. It's the start of something big. We can't be wrong. Jewish pride, Jewish pride. We've got Jewish pride. We won't let it hide, 'cause it comes from deep inside. So shout it out loud. Jewish pride. Across loud and clear. shouted for everyone to hear. We'd like to learn all there is to learn. We'd like to know all there is to know. We've got this feeling that is coming through real strong. It's the start of something big. We can't be wrong. Jewish pride, Jewish pride. We've got Jewish pride. We won't let it hide, 'cause it comes from deep inside. So shout it out loud, Jewish pride.
You're listening to True Talk Radio, the only place to be.
Around Dodge City and in the territory out west, there's just one way to handle the